Today's show is brought to you by GoDaddy. Buy your own domain name, build your site, or use any of GoDaddy's business tools and save 30%. Just go to trygodaddy.com/HWT. That's trygodaddy.com/HWT. Welcome to another piping hot, steaming pile of Hey, We're Talking. What? It came out different than I thought it was going to. Too bad. Derek, how you doing, man?
I'm all right.
Oh, he gave us the rock horns.
Rock on.
Give me the rock horns. And Bob, how about you? How you doing?
I'm excellent. How are you, Scotty D?
I'm not going to lie.
Why? Because you have a Red Lion shirt on?
No, I have a Red Wings shirt on, but what does that have to do with it?
Looks like a lion shirt.
No.
So you got a red... It's the Red Rings?
The Red Rings.
Good grief. Oh, that's the funniest part is he was not even saying it right. Because they don't... The classic Asian people can't pronounce R's. It wouldn't be wing, would it? It's not L's. It's L's.
Yeah,
fa ra 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 ra, not fa la 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 la.
I don't even know why you guys brought this up.
Because you kept saying the wing. That would be if somebody was like, "Oh boy, here we go again."
Is that the pick of destiny?
That is Dave Grohl. If you want it, it can be yours.
He has to come on this show though to get it.
No, he doesn't. He has to meet
Dave,
me,
don't listen to him.
He has to meet me on November 8th in Champaign, Illinois.
Champagne.
And I will give him the pick of destiny.
All right. Anyway, the pick of destiny. If it actually works, you're a genius.
Hashtag meet Dave Grohl. Follow it do it on Twitter and all that stuff. I'm at the top.
Bob's got a couple of like Instagram and Twitter things where he's like, he wants to give him the pick of destiny. If you don't know why, the pick of destiny is from... Go ahead, Tenacious D.
Tenacious D.
And Dave Grohl is the devil in...
And the drummer.
Of Tenacious D. So there you go. All right. So today we've been talking about horror. I don't know enough about it. I feel very inadequate talking about these things. And now we're going to talk about another subject that, quite frankly, I don't know if I know a lot about. I know only one came to mind because Bob said something about it. But we're going to talk about a very uplifting topic today. Serial killers. You know what I'm going to have to do, though? I can't call the episode anything to do with serial killers because then YouTube will tag it as a bad thing. You can't... They just... Indiscriminately, it wouldn't matter. I'm surprised. I don't know what I'm going to do even with the horror ones. If they listen to it, they're not going to like the content, and they won't shut it down. They just make it so no one will ever find it unless they know where to go to find it. Does that make sense?
Well, hey, our fans know where to go to find it.
I know, it's just so stupid. Anyway, all right. So serial killers. I know nothing about this, and the only one I know, and I don't even know if I'm going to know how to say, I don't know if I remember his name, but you talked about him eating people, and now I forgot his name.
Well, we'll get to Jeffrey Dahmer, but
see, that's it. Ted Bundy. That's the only other one I know.
Okay, so one of the most popular ones was a Zodiac killer. Do you know that name?
Son of Sam or something like that?
Well, he was a killer that fashioned a name for himself with taunting letters, and he sent it to people around the Bay Area and the Bay Area press.
Okay, so that's different. Son of Sam was in New York. This guy's in the Bay Area. Okay, two different people.
Right,
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is San Francisco. So he left ciphers to decode all of his notes and his messages and things like that, and he claimed to have killed 37 people in the San Francisco Bay Area. And he basically wrote a note at one point to put together this really weird letter that they had to decipher and figure out, okay, what does this mean? And basically the whole letter meant me, 37, San Francisco Police Department, 0.
Oh my gosh.
And He actually claimed to have killed the 37 people, but the newspapers confirmed only 7.
That's
the case file, yes. And the case file is still open today, though.
Ooh.
So
Ooh.
you never know.
What's his name?
Find these,
What's his real name?
it just says the Zodiac Killer. His real name is...
Oh, I put him on the spot. He wasn't ready.
Well, if they never caught him, then...
They haven't caught him?
Well, they have a picture of him wanted for murder, but it doesn't say here if he was ever caught.
Oh, my gosh. Dude.
So I will Google that.
That's kind of
now.
disturbing. The Zodiac Killer. Derek, you have nothing to say about the Zodiac Killer? Are you playing Candy Crush right now? What are you doing?
No, I'm looking up names of
both of these guys are like, we're going to talk about serial killers, and they're both looking down. What do you go ahead?
I said at the beginning of the
I
show
know
that I'm
you
going to
did.
have to look down to make sure that, I can...
I'm talking to the wall over here.
They don't know his name
They don't.
because the Zodiac Killer, or Zodiac, was a serial killer who operated in Northern California in the late 60s and early 70s. So,
Okay.
so yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Way to
It
make us
never-
all worried now, Bob. He's probably still out there, and we're talking about him.
Well, there is a guy named Gary L. Stewart that came out and said that his dad was a Zodiac Killer.
Huh.
That's kind of a weird thing to talk about your dad. Hey, my dad was the Zodiac Killer, everybody.
And
Well-
what if he wasn't?
I know.
Then you got
Well,
a
it's
strained
just his-
relationship.
It's his biological father, so I'm guessing that they didn't have any
just
connection or
snorted.
anything like that. But he said that he says that his dad died in 1984. But the files are still open just because they don't know for sure.
So the guy that I was talking about, son of Sam, David Richard Berkowitz. You ever notice that's what they always do when you have 3 names when you're like a murderer of some kind? He was known as the son of Sam and the 44 caliber killer. He was in New York City. He shot people. So that's all he did. He didn't do anything he just went around. He killed 6 people and wounded 7 others in July of 1977. As the number of victims increased, Berkowitz eluded the biggest police manhunt in the history of New York City. And he left letters, too, that mocked the police and promised further crimes. So when was your guy, the Zodiac, what year was he?
1969.
Oh,
In the
this is
60s,
like a
basically
copycat.
Yeah, 60s and 70s.
This guy's a little copycatter. Son of Sam, David Berkowitz. What a jerk.
Well, I don't know. How did the Zodiac Killer? What was his kill method? Did he
Yeah, what did he do to kill people, Bob?
Did he strangle? Did he knife people? And
I like that you said knife. Thank you.
You're
That's
welcome.
kind of what I do.
Bob, how did he kill people?
I'm looking up the information, folks. Come on, you got to give me a second here.
Good grief. David Berkowitz is still alive, it looks like, by the way. He's 64 years old. Good grief, man. 6 life sentences. I'm glad he's not out. They always talk about letting Charlie Manson out. Is he considered a serial killer, Charlie Manson?
Charles Manson?
Yeah, he is.
He just did it all in one fell swoop, didn't he?
Well, no, I think it took them a while. He was cult leader, convicted of murder and conspiracy to murder 9 people.
Okay.
But that was over time. There is a difference, from what I understand, between serial killers and spree killers.
Yeah.
That's like your mass shooter. These are the people that
Go on a killing spree.
They go on a rampage, and basically they usually get caught or shoot themselves.
And serial killers generally dress up as characters from cereal boxes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Boom.
Yeah. That's great.
They're Cocoa for Cocoa Puffs is what I know. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. So Manson wouldn't really be considered a serial killer is what you're saying? Or you think he is?
I think he was kind of like he put him up to it, but he
Talk into your microphone. We can't hear you, man.
Sorry, brah.
You're looking down. That's why you got to talk into the mic.
Charles Miles Manson Maddox is an American convicted mass murderer.
Mass murderer. Okay. Wow, he's like child's play compared to the mass murders we've had happening in the last 10 years. Good grief. They always talk about letting him out, and I'm always like, really?
Well, because he's up for parole, but they shut him down every time. So,
I think he's about to die anyway. He's kind of sick.
Actually, he was sick for a while and recovered, and he's doing well apparently.
Bob keeps up on Charlie Manson.
It looked like, from what I'm trying to read through this real quick as we're here on the show, but it looks like a lot of his were shootings.
See, copycat.
For the Zodiac Killer, a lot of it was people that he'd wind up shooting to death. One person that didn't really care about shooting people, but loved to decapitate people was Ted Bundy.
The way you just said that was fantastic.
Decapitate. I was trying not to belch at the same time, but Ted Bundy was an American serial killer, kidnapper, rapist, necrophile. He operated in various states in the U.S., confessed to killing 30 women. Yep. He visited crime scenes and indulged in sexual acts with the corpses.
Oh, gosh, dude.
He decapitated at least 12 of his victims and kept their heads as trophies in his apartment. At 42, he died in the electric chair in 1989.
Yeah, he died. He got zapped.
His own defense attorney said Ted was the definition of heartless evil.
I get it.
That's what his lawyer said.
What a crappy lawyer.
He was the one that dressed up like a clown, right? Was that him?
No.
He lured chicks into stuff. He was very charming, is what happened. He would lure these women into, he'd take them on a date or say, "Hey, can I give you a ride?" And then he'd murder them.
So the one that dressed up as a clown was Chicago's very own
John Wayne
Gacy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, these people, this stuff is creepy. Gosh,
so
it.
John Wayne Gacy, he kind of operated between 1972 and 1978 in the Chicago area. He sexually assaulted and murdered 33 teenage boys and young men. So he buried 26 of his victims in a crawl space under his house and disposed of their bodies in the Des Plaines River. He was sentenced to death, spent 14 years on death row, and then he was executed by lethal injection in 1994.
Oof. Good grief. That's a bad one to take a break on, but we got to do it. Man, that's a depressing one. Burying them under your house.
When we come back, we'll talk about somebody who likes to eat people.
Well, we already know who that is. That was messed up. Oh, good grief. What are we talking about this stuff for? Gosh dang it. All right. When we come back, we'll just continue to make me feel terrible talking about people who like to murder people. Fast, simple, and affordable. That's what registering your domain name with GoDaddy will be. Fast, simple, affordable. And if you listen to this show, Hey, We're Talking, you're getting a discount, 30% off if you go to trygodaddy.com/HWT. Again, 30% off. All you have to do is go to trygodaddy.com/HWT for 30% off your domain name and other business services provided by GoDaddy. Hey everybody, it's Scott from Hey, We're Talking. You've heard us talk about Gamefly.com before. The basics are this. They've got over 8,000 titles for every gaming platform you can think of, and they're giving you a 30-day free trial. That's right, 30-day free trial for you, the listeners of Hey, We're Talking. You want to play video games? You want to be a champ at video games? Go to gameflyoffer.com/HWT. That's gameflyoffer.com/HWT for your 30-day free trial. Oh my gosh. Oh, all right. Listen, go ahead. Bob,
Scott is really taking this like
it's
all
just,
personal, and he's taking it in.
It's just sad. It's so horrible.
But it's real.
That's why it's terrible, because it's real. It's not some fake, stupid movie. It's like people are so messed up. Oh, my gosh. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so Jeffrey Dahmer.
Gosh dang it.
Jeffrey Dahmer, the Milwaukee cannibal, responsible for dismembering 17 men and boys between 1978 and 1991. He also indulged in necrophilia and
Oh,
cooking body parts for his victim, then eating them. So he would actually have somebody. He would cook somebody else's body
See,
parts
this is just
for his victim,
terrible.
and then he would try to encourage his victim to eat it.
Who
And then
wants to
ultimately,
hear this? That's
he
what
would
I'm saying. Who wants to hear this? Is terrible.
he would eventually eat the other person.
And then
was
he got
eventually caught.
murdered in prison.
Yeah, can I get to that, buddy? I mean, I'm
I don't
going
want to
through
hear
this.
any more of these horrible details. Just
He
kill
was-
him and get it over with.
He was eventually caught after a prospective victim managed to overpower him. Dahmer was sentenced to 15 years of life imprisonment, 15 terms of life
I was
imprisonment.
going to say 15
So-
years. Man, that was a light sentence.
Life to 15 degree. In 1992, he was beaten to death by a fellow prisoner at the Columbia Correctional Institute 2 years later.
Is that in South
And-
Carolina he died?
And rumors from that time said after he was dead, somebody actually took a broomstick and placed it squarely up
Stop.
onto the next person.
Stop. Good grief.
Well, we've said that these guys are real, but one of these guys who didn't have like a ton of victims, but he was the inspiration for folks like Norman Bates on Psycho, Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs, and Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a dude named Ed Gein.
Oh, boy.
He killed a couple of people, but I think his hobby was like digging up dead bodies already, and he used their skin to he made clothes and lampshades and stuff out of people's skin.
What?
And which included, I think, like a mask that he wore.
Is this real?
So
Yes.
that is real. And so this guy's shenanigans are what inspired Norman Bates the Psycho, and because I think Ed Gein had like a very contentious relationship with his mother.
With his mother.
With his mom. Let me go. But yeah,
oh my gosh, dude. This is again, I'm telling you, this is so hard to listen to these because these people are so twisted. And you guys are giggling at me being uncomfortable, but it's so this is gross.
No, this is horrible. But
It's
this is
terrible.
These stories are real, and people should
And
know
we're not
about
even
this.
talking about people. Can you imagine? Like, America's messed up, but in like some Eastern Bloc European country, there are way worse serial killers that we don't know about.
Oh, of course there are.
Oh, dude,
Man, it's
just imagine. Like, I'm just even thinking of, even back in the day, I'm surprised that Derek hasn't talked about somebody like this, like Jack the Ripper. I know Derek probably knows all about Jack the Ripper. No?
Well, why would I know all about him? I've heard
Because
of him.
you're the guy who's like, you always go like really far back and be like, hey, what about Jack the Ripper? Just the fact that you know about this. What is the guy's name from? Is it Texas? You said David what?
Oh,
the guy who uses people's skin for lampshades.
Oh yeah, Ed Gein. But
How
he's
do you
famous.
know about this stuff?
Dude, he's
Oh,
famous.
yeah.
Like,
I've
he's the
never
butcher
heard of him.
He's from Wisconsin.
Oh, I thought it was
died-
Texas.
No, that's the butcher of Plainfield. Plainfield, Wisconsin.
Good.
And like I said, he was the inspiration for Buffalo Bill and for Leatherface. So he's known.
This is just terrible. Okay.
How about somebody from your area, Scott?
Oh no.
Your current area.
Okay.
William Bonin, also known as the Freeway Killer. Between 1979 and 1980, he raped, tortured, and murdered at least 21 young men. Bonin would dump their bodies along freeways in South Carolina. After being convicted for 14 of the killings, he was executed by lethal injection in 1996. His sadistic side was still seen during his prison sentence, where he corresponded with many of his victims' families about how their children reacted to his torture.
Oh my
Good
goodness.
gracious.
What's that dude's name?
William Bonin, Bonin.
Jeez.
At least he lived down here so we could fry him. Gross. And I'm not a proponent of the death penalty, but that's terrible. When you're like taking pleasure in murdering people, that's just sick. Anyway. All right, throw me another one, guys. Keep them coming, because I'm going to be dreaming about this for the next week.
Oh, there was was it Ridgway? I forget his name. Let me say, I'm getting to it. I'm almost there.
Okay,
Dennis Rader. Sorry.
Oh,
Dennis
yeah.
Rader. He's the BTK killer. Bind, torture,
is.
kill. Happened in Kansas back in the 90s. He was caught like in 2004, but he was like, he had a family, wife, kids. He was like a nice guy. He was the quintessential.
Well, not a nice guy, but yes, pretended to be one.
You know, he was just, the bind, torture, kill. And he was basically considered by all his family and neighbors to be just a normal dude, but he had a secret life.
Oh,
and that was...
Did he get the electric chair or anything?
I think he got... He is still alive.
Oh, no!
Life in prison. He's 72 years old now.
That's so horrible.
Life in prison. He got 10 life sentences.
Oh, dude. Bob, who's yours? What's your next one?
Charles Edmund Cullen, known as the Angel of Death.
Good grief.
Cullen worked as a nurse in many hospitals, but
Derek. Uh-oh.
I got all choked up. I just thought of Derek and got scared. Cullen worked as a nurse in many hospitals, but kept switching jobs as he was fired for suspicious behavior from many of them. He confessed to murdering 40 elderly patients in New Jersey from 1984 to 2003. He did his poisoning. You okay?
No, I'm laughing because you're like, Uza.
I'm trying. I had this cough that's just lingering.
Yeah.
He did this by poisoning patients to death with unprescribed medications. He stated he wanted to relieve the patients from their suffering, much like an angel would. Experts say he had more than 300 victims.
Good
Cullen was
grief.
imprisoned for life.
Still alive.
Yep.
You guys, come on. Can we have, like, a nice one? Is there any nice serial killers out there? I've got one. Dexter. There's a good serial killer.
All right.
Listen, that's a good serial killer right there because
Yeah.
he kills other killers.
Yeah.
Did we talk about the butcher?
No.
His name is Andriy Chikalakoloro something. I don't know. It's a Russian name.
Is he from America?
No, he's from Russia.
See? This is going
why
to
I
be
said-
one of the worst ones. Get ready. Here we go.
Let's hear it.
He said, when I used my knife, it brought psychological relief. I know I have to be destroyed. I was a mistake of nature. He was responsible for sexually assaulting, killing, and mutilating 53 women and children between 1978 and 1990 in Russia. After being captured in 1992, he was ordered to be killed by a firing squad in 1994.
That's how you do it.
Yep.
Just shoot him. Plus, that way, nobody knows who did it. If you have to pull the switch, it probably makes you... Well, although I think they still do stuff to make it so, like, 3 people pull the switch and nobody knows exactly who did it.
Yeah, they do that still.
So you don't have to be like, I just killed a guy. Anyway, the butcher. Derek, do you have another one? I don't know.
Leroy Martin, also known as the Gaffney Strangler, killed 2 women and 2 girls in South Carolina.
Just 2?
In 1967 and 68. He's like, yeah, this guy, nothing. It's just I was putting it in your local area.
You're trying to make me terrified. Compared to the ones we started off with, these are like child's play, although the butcher has taken the cake so far as the number of people dead, I think.
There's another guy named Alexander Puchinskin. That's very hard to say. The chessboard killer. He was known as the chessboard killer. His targets were homeless men whom he lured to his house with vodka. He is believed to have killed 49 people, most of them with repeated hammer blows to their heads, and then he inserted a vodka bottle into the gasping skull wound. He initially said that he wanted to complete the number of squares on a chessboard and killed 64 people. Also, it was believed that he was It was a competition with another Russian serial killer, Andrea Chikalaco something.
Gosh dang.
I don't know.
Bob.
These Russian names, man. I don't know Russian. Who was convicted in 1992 for 53 killings. It was the same year that Alexander started killing. So it might have been one of those, partnership killings.
So,
trying to compete
Bob,
with one another.
just to bring it full circle, this would have been a good spot for you to use your W joke for vodka because it's vodka.
Vodka?
Vodka.
Vodka.
Vodka. No,
vodka.
it's vodka.
I don't know.
V's are W's. Go ahead.
No, I don't know Russian.
No,
man.
Derek's
Sorry
about to say
that.
something. It's
I'll
okay.
finish it. I guess I'll finish it up. I guess.
Oh, he's taking it home. Let's go. Here you go.
I don't know, because Scott was like, 4 people dead. That's nothing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So this will impress you. There's a guy named David Parker Ray, also known as the Toy Box Killer. Suspected American serial killer, torture of women in New Mexico between 1950s and 1999 in the small town of Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. He was suspected to have murdered as many as 60 people.
That's it?
And
Over all that time?
yeah.
I can top it.
Uh-oh.
Real quick. We got time for it?
Go ahead.
Let's go. Let's hear it.
Tommy Lynn Sells is perhaps the most dangerous Texan in history. He claimed to have killed at least 70 people. He brutally murdered people between 1985 and 1999, including stabbing a 13-year-old girl 16 times. Sells would break into their bedroom. He did this to the bedroom of a 10-year-old girl, stabbing her and left her to die. But despite her injuries, she managed to survive, gave a detailed description of Sells to the police. He was sentenced to death and remains on death row in a high-security prison in Texas.
Wow. That guy's messed.
crazy.
These people are so sick. This is horrible.
Yeah,
70 people.
I do feel kind of dirty thinking about all.
Can we never do this again, please?
This week of shows has been entertaining, but it's like
Just
icky.
pray for us. We need to be dipped in holy water. Disgusting.
Well, I will say it is October, and crazy stuff does happen in October, and
Oh my gosh.
it's justified. But
No.
hopefully, you guys got a little education on your serial killers.
Education. This is horrible. Okay, listen. I
I
don't
just
even
found
know how
somebody
to
else
end this.
I found somebody else who killed 71. See, these guys are just trying
Bob's
to top
just
each
trying
other.
to top all these guys. Okay, listen, I can't handle any more of these, especially because you keep going and you say it just so nonchalantly. Killed a 13-year-old girl by stabbing her 16 times, and I'm just like, that is the saddest. It's horrible. I don't want to hear. I don't want to talk about it anymore. We got to stop.
Next time we do this, I'll be more sad.
You should.
Well, it hurts my heart that these guys
I can
killed all these people.
I can tell
Think
you're
about
all
it.
broken up about it.
We just rattled off maybe 8 to 10 names, but we're talking about hundreds and thousands of lives affected by.
Listen to
by
how
these
he's
guys.
trying. Listen to how he tried to bring it home like that.
So if
Like
you guys
you're
ever
doing
feel
one of
the
those
urge-
commercials where you're asking for money for starving kids in Africa.
Right. Hi, my name's so and so. I look like the guy on Quaker Oats box. 5 cents a day.
Okay.
Dane Cook had a good thing about that. Do you remember that? Where
No.
Dane Cook had a whole spiel about 5 cents a day.
And now
No,
we're ending it with Dane Cook. Everybody,
Who is the next serial killer?
Dane Cook.
You did say before the show, Scott, we haven't had a
Don't! I
good
didn't
serial
want to.
killer at all.
I didn't want to say that. We haven't had one. Craig. Stop. Now I had to laugh at the end. It's terrible. Okay, we're gonna wrap the show up now. Thanks for listening. May God have mercy on your soul.
Train, say your prayer, eat your vitamins.
It's Hulkamania.